Like for that. Mm. Mm. Oh, sorry, you guys. I am doing some things. I am making things work. So, without further ado, we're going to run a commercial. So, give me a minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am Dr. D from Food Alchemy Network. Ah, okay, it feels good. It's Friday. I'm shaking it off. How you doing? You look like you're ready to eat. So, did you have enough time to prepare? I mean, are you okay?
Man, I wake up ready.
All right. Hey, beautiful
I wake
thing.
up
Beautiful
ready.
thing.
Hey, come on, man.
Okay. For people don't know, I am Dr. D, aka Food Alchemist, CEO of Food Alchemy Network. This is my channel. So if you don't get a chance right now, if you've never seen us before, you see that button right there, subscribe, and then push the bell for notifications. So that's on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch,
One
and
moment, please.
Facebook. So um, we're going to be talking. Oh, represent. I see. All right now. So we have Stephen, Mr.
Yes,
Stephen
ma'am.
Metz from.
Stephen. I usually start off with Stephen,
Oh,
and then
Stephen.
people who have a relative or a brother, or they know someone that's a Stephen, they'll go from Stephen to Stephen, and I just okay, cool.
No, say your name.
Stephen.
Okay, Stefan. All right, I like that. I can do that.
It's
Because
okay.
I
My
remember.
mom still calls me Stephen, so she ain't changing though. She's not
Oh
changing. I can't do nothing about that.
no! Hello, you still breathing, right?
Yeah, I'm breathing. Yeah, if I treat her right, I'm still breathing.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to speak to you today on I thought I gave you a list. How introduction to yourself of who you are.
Okay. Just trying to get my lighting situation taken here. Sorry. It's all over the place. You know.
Hey, I got shadows in the back, so I mean I ain't saying much. I mean this ain't
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I'm doing a makeshift studio. This I'm not, you know what I mean? I have to make
We
sure
all
that
just
when I get
trying right now. Yeah.
when I get home in
Okay.
Mexico, then I'll have my studio like it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Um,
There we go. Okay. Cool.
so
Okay.
let's explain your name, where you
Okay.
born.
Yeah. So, the whole name thing. I grew up as Stephen. Let me get that straight. My mother named me after the first martyr in the Bible for the gospel. He's the first actually recorded person who died for in the sake of the gospel's name, defending the gospel, because at that time Christians were being persecuted, um, and it was just absolute blasphemy to say you were a Christian and you were following, the faith of Christ, and you could get stoned. You would get stoned to death. I mean, that's something you just didn't cross that line, and he did it boldly, and he was willing to die for it. And so I feel that I have that characteristic that if I believe in something, I'm going for it, you know, and that could be good, can we not be good, you know. Got to use discernment when we, you know, want to put our energy into something. You get what I'm saying, right, Dr. D? You already know. You already know. You
Yes,
know.
I
You gotta. You have to monitor your commitment and energy on certain things, because if you're an all out person like me, like I'm black or white in terms of I'm gonna do something or if I'm gonna not do something. And so I've learned over the years, because I've gotten tired of, you know, catching fire for stuff I shouldn't even cop fire for, that everything is not worth, you know, your time. Only the things that really matter and are, you know, important to you in life and that are gonna, you know, move you forward and you're passionate about, then
okay.
you know what? Green light it. Green light it.
Green light. Green
Green light.
light.
Red light. Red light. Now I let me down. Just
See, here you
leave.
go.
Yeah.
You're fine. You're fine.
Mm,
So, oh,
that
and you
old
got
P
my
Funk,
cup.
George Clinton.
What are you doing with my Starbucks cup?
Oh, this is a permanent deal right here. I
I
get
know. I
Starbucks every
got
night at
some.
home.
See,
Yeah, every night at home, right here. Starbucks. It's actually tea. Can you see the tea
it's
clip
hot or
here?
cold. I know. I mean, I got my before COVID. That was my thing, and then when they told me no, we can't do that no more. You know, we have to. You know, we because of COVID. I was like, so what you gonna do? She was like, I was like, you know, I'm not even getting my discount. But it's all good.
Yeah.
So tell me where you were born.
Okay, so I was born in San Diego, California. Grew up in San Diego. You right?
Uh,
Okay, grew up in San Diego. Surprised a lot of people because the way I carry myself, you know, a lot of people think either like LA, Frisco, or East Coast somewhere, or maybe South.
mm-hmm.
But I grew up in Diego, but I have lived in different places. Um, Played football in college, tried out for, you know, some pro teams after college. So I was, you know, blessed to do that. I didn't get signed to a big contract or anything, but I was blessed still to be in the system, try out for teams, have an agent, that whole process. And it was after that where I got into some different things where I started, you know, learning about myself. I think one of the big things I got into was acting. A lot of people don't know this about me, and I got into it um, during my playing days, playing football. Um,
Oh, cool.
my it was a thing where my agent at the time told me and another friend of mine who we had the same agent, and that's how we became friends. And so he said, "Hey, look, you know what? Why you guys are not signed? I think you know what, you guys are in shape. You have the look. Well, I got a friend of mine who has a agency, talent agency in Santa Monica. He's looking for athletes that he can, you know, book for commercials and print work. You guys can make some money on the side and still, you know, stay ready for the NFL and that sort of thing." And so we went through with it, and good Lord, I don't know how it happened, but I was getting auditions and landing jobs. My other friend who he just, you know, awesome athlete, awesome person, handsome dude too, really handsome. Um, he wasn't so much into it, but he really did have the look and everything. And uh, I guess I just, you know, was like, hey, you know what, this could be something. Even if I do make it to the NFL, I still want other stuff. And it worked out. It worked out. I ended up getting some jobs. My ex, who I was with at the time, was an actress, so we had that in common. And you know, she would actually help me out with reading scripts and stuff. And it's just God was really good because I never had been into the arts like that. And it opened me up to a whole different world, you know. And so from there, years later, I hooked up with another friend of mine, helping him out with farmers markets in Long Beach because he started up a farmers market in a underserved area. And when we like got this farmers market going, we actually did pretty well in this. In the city asked us to help open up some other markets in the area for underserved neighborhoods, and so we got them going, and this was two guys that we just got in, passionate about it, learned the ins and outs about how to get it started, how to run it, reached out to other people to figure out like, okay, how they're running their markets. And so we really learned on the go. But people in the community saw what we were doing, supported us. We even got like some grants to help, sustain the market. And man, that was awesome because that was the first time I felt like a true just entrepreneur, but it was like a win-win because the community was winning, people who were starting businesses were winning. In fact, one guy who started his barbecue chicken business ended up opening a restaurant right down the street from one of the markets, and now his restaurant is like for the last, I think, maybe 10 years or so, has been one of the top barbecue spots in Long Beach and in LA. I mean, it's just been
Wow.
amazing. Yeah, Robert Earl's Barbecue. Y'all can look him up. Robert Earl's Barbecue started
So
right at yeah.
what did you sell at the Long Beach Farmers Market? What was you selling?
It was all mom and pop small vendors. They were selling anything from like homemade jewelry to uh, like fruits and veggies, lemonade, Beverly's lemonade. I mean, just took off. I mean, they would, sell clothes and stuff like that, hats. I mean, it was a collection of people that were just trying to like get their business going. And
That's
because
nice.
we weren't pretty much charging nothing, we were just asking for like 10% of whatever they sold that day. It was like a no brainer. Hey, you know what? This is a spot where I can like, get something going. And we took almost anybody and everybody. And
Okay.
so we got known for that. We got known for like getting stuff started, and it kind of, it fit like my personality because I'm kind of out there when I, get behind something, I do it. It's like I own it. And
That's good.
so yeah. I learned a lot about how you don't this is where my Seed for Greatness Foundation, I think, really started. I learned back then, 2009, 2010, you don't need any resources. You don't need any like professional training. What you need is something you're passionate about. And then you take what you know about yourself and you apply that. And as you start to take those steps, you start to attract the people who can start guiding you or give you things to help you get to the next step, next step, next step. And so here I am years later, starting my Seed for Greatness clothing line. Don't know anything about the clothing business when I started, but now I'm learning a lot, and I'm applying that same work ethic that I did with the farmers market, with football. And it's amazing again, like how you can have an idea but something that's serving other people, because it's about helping people bring out the best in themselves. That's the basis of it. Vision, belief, and purpose. Once you look inside yourself, you'll see that you have gold in there once you really examine what's in you, and how God just made your personality, made your physical presence, to be able to do things, how you speak. I mean, some people have a voice that is captivating, and so everything matters. Everything matters, right? Man,
Right.
I could talk all day. You got to stop me. You got to stop me.
No, no. So, okay. So you went from that. But what made you decide to do the clothing brand seeds for greatness. Like what stuck out? Like I want to do that. I want to make shirts and have this slogan on these shirts. And that's going to be me. That's going to identify who I am.
Yeah, good question. Okay, good question. Y'all give me 1 second. This light, I feel like it's just kicking the mess out of my head. Hold on one moment. Okay, let's see. I think this will be a little bit better. Yeah, okay. Okay, so
Go for it.
yeah, I don't know. I'm conscious about these things. Um, the motivating factor, which got me to start this clothing line, was because 2 years ago, I was at a very, very low, dark point in my life where I couldn't see the real value of myself. I lost the sense of my who-ness, my identity, because I was wrapped up in thinking I needed things and people to be successful. I needed a good job, needed a certain amount of money in the bank, needed to, be married, needed to be, certain status in life, right? All these exterior things. And I started looking around, and when I started thinking hard about this, was like, well, okay, what if I had this? Would that change in my circumstances? And the answer kept coming back, no, because you can have something, but you still won't be able to do anything with it until you bring your value on it. You put your value on it. And then from there, that's when I started reaching out and listening to different podcasts and videos on pastors, motivational speakers, people who have overcome like extreme hardships in their life. Because I was like hungry to learn about what the heck does make someone successful, and like go on that journey, on that search. I listened to probably over 10,000 hours of different people speaking. Like I said, range from pastors to motivational speakers to uh, you know even politicians. Anybody that I thought had that gift of communication.
Mm-hmm.
And so I so like many like 50 to 60, maybe even more different type of people from different type of walks of life. And I saw a common theme, and the common theme was the success was when they felt like they were doing the thing they were most happy about and seeing the progression of it. And I heard a sermon. There was a Joel Osteen. Are you familiar with Joel Osteen, Pastor
I know
David?
exactly who he is.
Okay, so you might have heard this sermon
Sir.
that he gave. He was talking one morning about you are the seed of greatness. You're pregnant with a great idea. Everybody's put something into someone, and they're just one idea away from changing their life. And when he started talking about that, I heard another sermon. I listened to another pastor, Miles Monroe, about talking about the greatness of us lies within ourselves. We can't take, our treasures with us, to heaven and stuff like that, but it lies within ourselves. And then I started studying nature. I started studying plants. And I did that also because I heard Miles Monroe talk about how the seed in a plant has everything genetically designed in it. It just needs to be in the right environment. So,
Right.
like as I was listening to these different speakers, I was going back and studying where they got that information from. And when I start studying nature, man, I had so much more appreciation for Dr. Miles Monroe, because he was so spot on that um, the things that are already in place, They're right in front of us. They're right underneath us. Yeah. So the seed is already designed to win. So are we. We're designed with our brains to make it happen. God gave us that. Yeah. Even Oprah, she talks about as a child, she knew something was different about her. She knew her life was going to be something different, even though her mother was a maid all her life, and her grandmother before that was a maid. And then she grew up, in the cotton fields picking cotton. So she grew up like in Jim Crow area, or her grandmother grew up in Jim Crow. So she had all these obstacles of poverty, negativity around her, but she still knew something was different about her, and she had to go find out. She had to find out a way to, see why it was different. And man, I can go on. Who else is big? Like Barack Obama. I just got finished reading his book, Inspired or Promised Land. When he ran for, when he started getting into politics, he was a professor teaching at Harvard. And he wasn't making a whole lot of ducats either, because he just got a law school, that kind of thing. So he was teaching, trying to get by. But when he finally got his job and he met Michelle, they started a family. Her thing was, let's start a family and take care of each other, and like kind of like work on the financial thing, and like put our family in a better financial place. But his thing was like, look, I got a dream. Let me, work this thing out, and I promise you, once I, serve some time, that we can work on that. So she agreed to it. But what happened along the way was he got momentum in his office when he was running for senator, and he had not just the charisma, but he had the ability to connect with all types of people. But Michelle was not happy with the idea of being a politician's wife. She didn't want that life. Even when he ran for presidency, she was not excited about it. This is what he talks in his book. It wasn't until he got nominated as the Democratic representative, and his staff had to like pull her aside and say, listen, you know what? Your husband has a legitimate chance to be president someday, but it's not going to happen unless you get on board. And until then, he says in his book, he went through some really dark nights because he would be out campaigning knowing that she wasn't feeling it. And there were nights where he would come home, she wouldn't talk to him. He would just go in the corner and drink. And I read that one, wow, wow. I mean, that would have made a lot of guys quit, like, okay, honey, blah, blah, blah. Or even maybe split up because, like, look, baby, you don't believe in me? Don't you see what's going on, right? But they pursued through, but you don't know that side because, we only see the successes. But, in Barack, like, he grew up in a multiracial family. He had his fair share of obstacles. Growing up, father being Kenyan, and the name Barack Obama. When Obama, you know, Bin Laden was coming out, he was catching fire for that. So there were a lot of things that happened to Barack that could have swayed his life in a different direction, but he had spent enough time being secure in himself. It actually benefited his relationship with Michelle, and it benefited the country too, because you have to be a special type of person. I mean, first black man to not just run for, well, he ran for president and got elected. I wanted to read his book because I wanted to know, man, what is that special thing you got? What is the fire that you have? Because I want to know, if I can, like get a little bit of that. He's telling me in a book. So I read the book like as if he's talking to me.
Okay, that helps. Whatever motivates you, if that gets you by that, if it helps. My
I told you, you got to
motivation
shut
was,
me up. I talk too much.
I read, books, my Mahatma Gandhi. When I was a kid, that was my inspiration. It's kind of weird, this seven-year-old kid is telling you about Mahatma Gandhi. I came home at 9 and told my mother I want to be a vegetarian. You telling that to a woman of color that they eat deer and meat and all that stuff, that you want to be a vegetarian and you gonna do ghee? What the heck is ghee? And I'm gonna show her how to make this. Yeah, right. I'm not gonna eat dairy. Yeah,
7 years old? Wait,
No, I
7 years
read I
old?
read the book at 7, but I
Wow.
decided at 9 that's what I wanted to do, because I was reading about that, but also I was studying Tibetan Buddhism, because at the time my mom and them got these encyclopedias that you went to Pathmark every week. If you went to Pathmark, you would get the set of volumes of encyclopedias, and then
Mm.
my mom had encyclopedias she inherited from her mother. So we come from a long line of teachers. So there's always information. And I remember that as a kid, reading about it, studying different things. And I was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi because of the revolution in the 70s and everything that they were doing. That intrigued me. And then Tibetan Buddhism, them chanting and the spirituality of it, that intrigued me. Um, it was weird
Mm.
to my family, but it intrigued me. So I'm much more a reader. Um, I love uh, Mother Teresa, stuff like that. Women that inspire. The women I read, my grandmother had me read the Bible, and it was women of the Bible, like Ruth and Martha
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
Esther. These were
Mm.
underlining, understanding uh, women that made sense in their eyes, and my grandmother's eyes. These are who you want to be, and I wanted to know
Mm.
why. So I dissected them, and I'm like, okay. And then I just started asking questions. Other women who did I admire as a kid? What did I see? Why do I see them? Um, the woman I admired the most was my Nona. Now, she was a Catholic faith woman,
Okay.
Sicilian, with a biracial grandchild, um, from
Mm.
Sicily. I admired her because she came from Sicily off the boat and to
Mm.
America with her husband and her child. And back then, they used to be called, my Nona said, wetback or something like that, a very derogatory name. And what they
Mm.
did is they built a business. She had a store. So early on, I had some sense of, you got your business, this is what you do. My Nona lost her husband when my dad was like maybe 15 or 16.
Mm.
So that, and back that time, and still have a store and run it, not close it, but work it. To me, it takes strength. So from her, I learned a lot of stuff. She had all kinds of different people that were her friends, but there were women that had business. Uh, One of her friend had the Jewish deli we went to. The other one had the Italian bakery. So these were all women. They would sit down and be, I guess, drinking their coffee or tea, and they would sit there
Mm.
and be at the table talking,
Yeah.
especially on Friday. And, they were from different faith backgrounds. That's what really got me. They were not, okay, you're Catholic, you're Baptist, you're Jewish. It was a whole cluster. Everybody was everybody, and they still respected that
Mm.
background. My grandmother's other friend, my girlfriend's grandma, she had a grocery store. She was from Korea.
Mm.
So I grew up around these women that have businesses and didn't think nothing of it. Just like, oh, okay, well, everybody lives in a house. Everybody has stores. You know what I mean? In my
Mm.
mind, everybody
Mm-hmm.
got what I got. So, because everybody had, you know what I mean? So for me to grow up later and realize, oh, I think I was 16 and I realized there was something called the projects. And not understanding it was different. So I told my grandmother I got an outfit for a girl, and I wanted to give her this outfit for Easter. I went and bought an outfit. Um, I bought her some shoes and a purse, and I took it to her. And for me, it was like I was just given. I had extra money. The girl told me, asked me, you bought me shoes, you bought me a dress and a purse. Where's my stockings? And it shocked me, like, well, did she just ask me for stockings? And then it let me see how some, even in our life, where we get so many blessings, but we focus on the things that we don't get, that we miss the blessings that we get. That is what I learned from that young lady. So focus on everything else, that one small little thing makes a big difference. And it was like, wow. And it made me look at things a little bit different after that, like how many blessings I got. I'm blessed. I didn't know what it was like prejudice wise. I can't say I experienced that. I didn't experience that until I became an adult and I had my son. Because I come from a multiracial background of friends, but family members in the area we lived in. Now, always people had well to do. I thought everybody lived like us. Going out, it's different. Going to Center City, I thought everybody got on the train, sat down, and put their feet up, and you know what I mean? Like we ride the bus. There was only a bus. I remember the number 35. They only ride around in our neighborhood, and everybody knew. You know what I mean? You get on. It was the 61. I mean, certain buses that we knew that they didn't come down in what we call Manayunk, and it would be on the same street. So for me, I thought, oh, well, everybody lives like that. They all got a little bus that they can get on and go up and down and walk up and down, from Ridge Avenue down to Main Street. I didn't realize how special we were until they did the Manayunk Wall. And that was bikers that came from all over the world that were riding their bike up the hill, the Manayunk Wall. We walked that all the time. I didn't know it was special. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Now y'all making a big thing out of it. We grew up like this. Like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
And we had the Mummers Parade. The Mummers came down all the time. Like Irish holidays, Easter, Christmas, New Year's. We were used to the Mummers because that's where they were from. And right there in Minneonk. So I didn't realize it was a big deal when they was like, oh, on strutting their stuff down Center City. So I say this to say is that I see a lot of stuff differently because of my experience. And I can't tell people, like, they're like, well, there's prejudice. I didn't experience that until I was much older. So I can't kind of relate. But I did, when I found out my Nona who she was, and I asked her, I said, do you realize that you're a white woman and I'm a black girl? And she said, what? And she popped me right in the mouth with a spoon. She said, don't ever let me hear you say that. She said, you can be anything you want. Don't let somebody define you by the color of your skin. Don't let somebody define you by the neighborhood you live in. You define yourself. And that's what I passed on to my daughter. Don't let anybody define you. My daughter had a medical illness. She wasn't born with it. A doctor gave her medication to shut down her kidney. So at a young age, that mother, I'm not your typical mother. I'm educated. I search. I challenge doctors, which, piss them off. And that comes from, I know if you feel something is not right, baby, it's not right.
Yeah.
But I told my daughter, she was like, Mom, they said I have kidney disease, so I should have this and this. I said, don't let somebody define your disease. You defined it how you want it to be. Now, now they can say you have the symptoms, you can be symptomatic and have them, but you might not be symptomatic to all the characteristics that it says that you have. And I know that go against some of the grain, but I challenged her. Don't, because someone says you sick, don't mean you sick. Sickness starts first in your mind. Psychologically, it affects you physiologically. So if you don't think you're sick, you won't be, some it does, but you gotta, it's a daily thing. It's a daily thing and a daily practice. So that's what I try to instill in my children. You are whoever you want to be. If you want to be a leader, you want to be a president, you can be anything. No one can stop you. What stops you is right here. When you start doubting yourself and stop doing what you think you can do, then guess what? It stops. So that's what I wanted to pass on to her. And she believed it for a long time. Because at the age of 3, they had told my daughter for so many times that she was supposed to die. She didn't die until the age of 23, and only because someone talked to her and asked her how the heck she was alive. A month later, after they did something, my daughter died. Because they asked
Sorry
her.
to hear that.
But the thing is, it let me know your mind is a very powerful thing. A very powerful thing and a very powerful weapon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But belief and support is another powerful weapon. So
I agree.
I just say, so I mean, I get motivated by, I guess my daughter was my motivation for a long time. She was my motivation for 23 years. Because it was like, if she can believe in me, like, then dag, I must be something. That's what I was like, like my daughter was older, and I used to say, well, your children are your report cards. And they were like, what do you mean? How your children act and respond is how they may be treated in some cases. Because there are some cases that's not true.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So I gotta say that in some cases, but I felt she was my report card. And I said, if I did this, oh gosh, I'm good. But she had me, it wasn't until after she transitioned that I found a video that she actually believed I was everything that I said I was. And nominated me to be the greatest mom. She said, if I could give my mom the world, I would. And she said, because she deserved it. And I was like, wow. And then when she started listening to stuff, I was like, I was in tears. But it was on her computer, and it wouldn't open. And a year later, I was in Thailand, and I just happened to be on the computer, and the video just uploaded. And I pushed video, and I was like, what is this? And I got the surprise of my life. Like, whoa. She really thought I was a cool mom. She really thought I had it going on. I've been messing up and not doing, thinking like working all those hours, but she thought I was really cool and I was a good mom. So I must have did something right. So that made me really feel really wonderful after hearing that this was something she was just recording, but it also let me know that she knew she was going to be leaving this earth and wanted to leave something behind for me to see. So that made me think like, wow. So that's a gift, but that's also motivation. There's many motivations. And the fact that you created that's amazing out of that seed, because nature repeats what it is in every life and every living thing. Nature repeats itself.
Yeah, it does. It really, you know what? And I was, shoot, I'll tell you what, boy, this whole life. Okay, there we go. There it is.
You got it.
So, thank you. So, yeah, COVID really, brought some things to light in a good way. So just like nature, when there's a crazy flood or a big huge fire, right, and everything gets burned down, destroyed, it gets burned down to the core essence, but it's there where actually the growth process starts again. And so all the potential for that forest to rekindle itself, it's actually already in the process, even though it looks like everything's like been destroyed, right? It's just now, okay, it's recycling itself. And that's what happened to me in COVID. Some things needed to crash and it was hard to let go. But a lot of those things that I had to let go were like old mindsets, habits that weren't serving me. And I didn't realize, man, like how destructive the mindset and the habits were, until I found myself, I hit, a rock bottom spot in life. And I knew that this wasn't it. There was more. There was more. When it was up to me, right, to go inside and find out what this more thing was. And so the Seed for Greatness line, it started with an idea. And before I even did any shirts, I just said, you know what, I'm going to go out, make a shirt, put the name on it. I don't even have a logo at this point. I just said, you know what, I need to start. So I started with just putting a name on a shirt, and I would wear it around. I just wear it around like to inspire myself, because I know once I started wearing it, man, okay, I know me. I know I'm gonna do something next. And then I reached out to a friend of mine who was the brother of, I'm sorry, my brother's friend who was a graphic artist. Oh, Dr. D, are you there still? Uh-oh. Dr. D, no. Ooh. Oh, there she is.
I'm sorry about that.
All good, all good. I was holding it down for you.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, so a friend, my brother's friend was a graphic artist, and I asked him for help because I was like, okay, I don't know anything about logos, so I need to reach out to somebody. And me and him must have went back and forth for about 2 months. He
Wow.
found, yeah, and he had questions for me. He gave me like a good 6 or 7 questions about, you know, like what was my thought about this idea? Did I want to like start an organization, or was it going to be a clothing brand, and was it going to be a sports line, was it going to be a motivational line, and what was, the inspiration behind the name, was it going to be something that people can use for recycling? He had too many questions, but I answered all of them. And when we finally got done, he said, okay, I'll get back to you. So he got back to me about a month later, and he had like literally 6 or 7 different logos. I loved them all. And I said, I want them all. He said, you can't. You can only have one.
Wow.
And that drove me nuts, because he made me and him methodically went through each one. And then after we did that together, he had me send it out to a few people to get their thoughts, because he wanted this thing done right too. And so we went through that, which took a couple more weeks. And then he said, you know what? You're not done yet, man. I said, what? He said, no, you got to get a trademark. If you're serious about this thing, someone else might see the idea, get a trademark, and they'll do something with it. You gotta own it. So he was right. And I'm just now, it's been a year. I'm just now finishing up the trademark process, but it cost me probably close to $1,000. And man, I wouldn't have it any other way. I am like 100% about this thing, and I'm glad I spent the money, because once I really get going, there ain't no stopping us.
There you
We
go.
gonna really, yeah, we're gonna do some big things, and got to get a trademark, right, on your stuff, right?
Yep. Got to.
So yeah, I mean, I make a little bit of money, but it's just money that goes back into building the brand, So there's really no profit right now, but man, it doesn't matter because it's just it's like building it up to get it in the position. So when we take the next step, when it's time to make money, all the things will be in place, and you don't have to really look behind or worry about did I do this step, that step. You want to just get all your ducks lined up, be ready to
Right.
rock. Yeah.
Uh, I'm typing. I'm here with you. I'm just typing.
Okay. Okay. Well, other thing I'm excited about coming up is so I do have different products out right now. I just haven't had a chance to lay them out like I want to because I'm working on a couple things at the same time with the brand, and
Mm-hmm.
one of those other things is the website. I'm finally making some headway on building the website, and that's another area where like I'm not good at this stuff, so I just said, you know what, I'm gonna challenge myself and figure this thing out. And so I've
Okay.
been blessed to have a good friend of mine who's been helping me, and so hopefully by the end of January we'll have this website ready to rock, and just make a difference.
All
Yeah.
right. It makes a big difference. When you're doing, like you said, something where it's not work, but it's something that you love. And the fact that you said you're not making a profit right now is not a lot. And if whatever you make, you're putting right back in the business. And, the fact that you know that and you're doing that is something most people get irritated about that because they're not
Yeah.
making the money they want to make.
Yeah. I know like in our culture, a lot, black culture is not really, not everyone, but for the most part, overall, it's not emphasized of like looking 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line, building a legacy. We don't talk like that with each
Mm-hmm.
other and our families. So where I'm at in my life, I realize that that is an important thing, and that you just don't get there by hitting a whole bunch of home runs. You get there by hitting, a lot of base hits. You want to
There you
you want to
go.
get in the game, right? Hit the ball and get to that first base. Get to first base, and then try to get to second base,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then when you get to third base, watch out. You're getting close to home now.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting close to home. So um, when you're doing the things that both of us are doing, because we're both doing this, yeah, other people benefit, but it changes you. I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but it's really changed me, and uh, like looking at what's important, like especially with your time and the type of
Yes.
people you're around. You don't play no games. If it's cool, it's cool. If it ain't, then I can't spend too much time around, certain people or situations. Just can't do it.
Yeah. I'm typing on my iPad and I have to figure this out. It's
All
like,
good. I see my name coming up. Okay.
yeah. So, so we're going to keep doing that throughout the program. So, you do have, those are private chat. So I'm going to put this that they can get your information on Instagram, Seeds for Greatness. Do you
Yes.
have a Facebook yet? Seeds for Greatness?
Um, Not yet. They can go to my personal site, which is my name, Stephen Metz or Stephen Metz, however you want to
Stephen
say it.
Metz.
All good.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
the website, I'll give you the website address, and they can actually pull it up. And I think I have a page that shows some information about the business. So
Okay. So for you guys down there, I'm going to link all information later on, if it's not there now, that you're watching it live, I'm going to put all the tags in there so you can get in touch with Mr. Stephen Metz
Hey.
for Seeds for Greatness. So I had to put the slick picture with the white shorts and the hat and everything. You showing your 8 pack. I was like, okay. I know some women out there like, okay. First question: is he married? Okay. Is he single? He's in San Diego.
uh,
And I said, San Diego finest. You are an EMT. So so that's you're always on call, and you're out there serving to the public again by giving your time and helping them. EMT is very important work.
it is. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
friend,
Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I wanted to know, were you going to be an EMT to get to be a firefighter? Is that what you want to do?
No, I became an EMT because I was pursuing PA school. And
Okay.
so they wanted us to go out and get patient experience. And I ended up staying a few more years than I had planned, but it worked out because I worked in 911. I worked at some of the busiest fire stations in San Diego, as well as in LA. I worked in LA for a little while. And I learned about the healthcare system by being in the 911 system. And so, yeah, good experience.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah, my friend did that. He went to school to be EMT just to be a firefighter. I was like, really? All of that just to be a firefighter? He was like, that's the easy way to get in. And I was like, wow. But I met him. He was my banker. He was the one that talked me into getting a business bank account and really putting what I wanted to do in business. I was like, I really don't want to do this. He said, but your food is so good. I was like, yeah, but I ain't gonna make no money. So for me, I cook just for the heck of cooking. When I have to cook for business, it gets diluted for me a little bit because there's always somebody complaining or something, or like, and it just got like, well, now when I cook for fun. If I'm helping
Mm.
you, I like that too. But for me, cooking is fun. I want it to be fun again, so I quit. I told them, you know what, y'all can have veggies become you. And now when I cook, people like inspire. Oh wow, she made beet ravioli with stuff, butter squash and black beans. Girls like, I didn't think that was possible. I was like, yeah, I'll come up with stuff. You tell me your diet, and I'll fix it for you. And that's only inspired because of my daughter. She had on, like, I think about 7 different diets she had to be on in all her life. So I had to come up quick, and they had to be good. So for me,
Mm.
now it's just fun. I get in the create kitchen and create. Like, I'm gonna do a show of making Play-Doh. Play-Doh that you can actually eat.
Wow. That's
That's
interesting. Okay.
that's good more for
Mm-hmm.
kids than anything else. You know what I mean? So, I was trying to think of like, what do I miss? Those are things I miss.
Mm.
Cooking just for the heck of it, not cooking because um I need to or I have an order. Um I like I like what I do, so cooking for me is fun. So your
Yeah.
motivation is fun. I see your beautiful pictures up there a lot, with the different people running and mission
Yeah.
running. I was like, he's constantly. Oh, I was like, now he got a video. All right, I was like, you kicking it. Ah, he doing it. They out there doing the salsa. That was doing line dancing. I was like, okay, doing something. I was like, you moving. I was like, okay, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, life is about experiences. So sometimes if see, well, see, here's what I'm learning too.
Hmm.
Images are very, very important. And so the different photos that I put up,
Hmm.
um, for those who are paying attention, and I'll tell you why I do why I do this with intention. I put up people, first of all, that if you meet them, they're the same people that I feel like would be cordial to you. Hi, oh yeah, you saw the picture, who would basically talk to you and wouldn't have an attitude. For me, that's very important.
I know that. Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
So the same thing with the models. The models are women that I know from the gym that I work out. They're actually, let's see, Mackenzie, Milan, Kaylin, and uh, Jay, the older gentleman. So they
Yes.
all work out the same gym, and they're trainers except for Jay. And I met them through another friend of mine who I asked at the gym months ago. I said, "Hey man, I got this clothing line. I'm looking for different people to model. If you can, get the word out and refer me if possible, I would appreciate it." So he introduced me to these different people, and I told them a little bit about what I'm doing. They thought the concept was great. They they saw the vision for the most part and agreed to help me out, take some pictures. And these are all people, Dr. D, that um, didn't. Uh, they were not professional models. They were not. They were just like enjoy taking the pictures. But I saw something different when they told me that what, yeah, they wanted to be models, but it was like a hobby thing. I said, well, you know what? The way I do things is I do it as is. So if you say this is what you want to do, I would love to, work with you and like we can develop it together. We can
All
learn
right.
together.
That
And
works.
so that's the results you saw. Like when I look at them, I call them models. They say, "Oh, you know what? No, I'm just taking pictures." I said, "No. Mm-mm. When you're up there, trust me, people that don't even know you are looking at you like you're a model, and that's the way I see you because
Okay.
I see something in you that will other people will attract, not just the outer look, but it's the essence that comes through in camera, and then with the brand, it all works. And so, yeah, I mean, I want you know everything to work. So I realize good looking people are important too. They have a role. We need those people too. Right? We need those people too. Yeah.
Okay. So that's true. Well, you need ugly people too. Everybody
Well,
has
that's
a
a
place in
you
life.
know. Well, that's the thing. What's that phrase? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Ashe. There you go.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So you can have someone exterior beautiful, has all the right, physical looks and everything.
Hmm.
But if the person taking the photo don't see him that way, it ain't gonna happen. It's
Bang
the person
bang.
who's taking the photo. What I see comes out of that person.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds
So
good.
yeah.
So you be doing your photo shoots where?
Right now, Mission Beach, but man, I want to flip it around and go in the hood. I want to see
Okay.
for greatness in the hood.
You can
Seriously.
do that.
Yeah, no, I'm
Maybe you
gonna
need
do
to
it.
come up here to Escondido.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So,
we'll figure this thing out.
I could, get it season greatness in Spanish. I could take it to Mexico. Who knows? You know what I mean? I'll be an
Mm,
ambassador for you. I mean, I'm not in the best shape right now, but I'm working on that. I'm shocking I guess the shock out of my doctors anyway. He's trying to figure out.
okay.
Wait a minute. I shock him every time
Mm-hmm.
I come in the office because I don't think he just look at me like, all right, he just gave up. He's like, I can't push you to get no. I was like, no. He said, I can't. I was like, no. He was like, so what
Mm,
is going to be? I was like, I'm going to get on the plane and I'm going to leave. That's it. That's it.
that's
Okay.
it.
And
Yep.
he just looks at me like, okay. Yeah. I was going to be a physician assistant too. So trust me. And then I changed my mind when I figured out I couldn't use it overseas. That was my main factor, that
Mm,
it wasn't equivalent. Then I got disappointed. But we
mm,
all, so I guess okay. But I also like natural stuff. So for me, I guess
yeah.
my doctor's like I'm my doctor's enemy at times. Like here she come, like no, that didn't work. No, this works. So, but he's
Mm,
good. You know, I have a good doctor here. He listens to me. I was like, I'll see you in 6 months. He said, I guess I'll see you in 6 months. I have no other choice, right? I was like, no. He said, I ain't see you in 8 months. I was like, I was making an exception.
mm. I love it, man. Hey, well then that's what it is. That's what it
Right.
is.
So you say what you want and you make it happen. And I said, you know what? I don't want to see him no more. And they were like, really? I was like,
Mm,
not if unless I have to. So I started expanding. He's like,
mm.
well, they called. He said, we called. And I was like, no, I really don't want to be here. And he's like,
Yeah.
really? I was like, yeah, because I figured I served my time. I had a little what they call IVF filter that was stuck in my
Mm,
body. It had been in
okay.
my body for about since 2007. Didn't find out about it until last year when I was real sick, where he said I wasn't going
Mm,
to walk and be bedbound. And I kept telling him, I was like, something's not right, da 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 da. I didn't want to listen, and then somebody found it was an IV filter. And he's like, oh,
mm,
just realize you're gonna be bedbound. And that's the end of your life. I was like, I'm not even 50 yet, and this is what you give me. So
mm,
I went all the way to Stafford Hospital. They took the IV filter out around about June. I was able to walk. Just kept motivated, and it gotten better and
mm,
better. So I'm like, and I said, you know what? I don't want to see this man no more. You know what? I'm going to Mexico. So for my
mm,
50th birthday, I was in Mexico. I was swimming in the cenotes. I was at the pyramids. I was having fun. And I said, you know
mm.
what? I like this. I don't think I want to go back to the US.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
just like, I was supposed to go there for a little bit and then come back. And I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I came back and I got me a house. And then I came back just for my son. And I was like, you know what? I got to hurry up and get out of here because I'm going to choke you. I don't like this. I was like, well, I'm here. Let
Yeah.
me see my doctor. And he just looked and I said, I'll see
Mm,
you. And that was it. Now, next month, I'll be out of here. You know, I'll be going back where I was. I'll be taking hopefully be taking my big boy with me.
okay.
You know, my
Okay.
Shaka. But yeah, I'm enjoying peace of mind down there. The
Mm,
life of eating good food that doesn't have preservatives and additives. Um,
mm,
Walking every day. I walk from my friend's house all the way to the zoo. I wouldn't have thought about walking like that as that much on a daily basis.
mm,
Getting up, I get up at 5:30. I'm in
mm.
there. That's good motivation for me. So, what is your motivation for you when you get up in the morning? Tell us
Oh,
some
great question.
inspirational things.
I I'm glad you asked that question for a number of reasons because I actually have to get up at 5 tomorrow. So it's
Wow.
okay. So after I answer this, then we'll kind of wrap it up. Uh,
Okay.
but my motivation comes from seeing the progress that's happening, not just with the clothing brand, but within me and how I feel about myself. Because I realized that's where the ultimate value of anything I do is gonna get better. Is how I build myself up each night before I go to bed, and then when I wake up. Um, my buddy Jerome Anthony Gross. Yep.
Yes.
So he did an exercise with me on the subconscious mind where we write down our goals, the things we want each night. You look at it before you go to bed, put it underneath your pillow. You wake up, that's the first thing you look at. And my God, I was telling him today on a live chat that 3 months ago when we did that, it was tremendous because I was seeing growth. But then I hit a spot where I realized as much as I'm growing, I'm shooting low. I'm getting all these, small victories, and that was good at the time because I needed it. But then I was like, man, I got more in me. Why? I need to take this energy and put it on something that's really gonna push me because
Right.
that's where I know I'm gonna grow. I can't like getting a goal that I know I can do in a week. Okay, well, that's okay, but I need something that's going to drive me for a year, a couple years. And so I came up with this 30-day goal challenge, and it
Yep.
literally, like, I picked 3 things that I know is not going to take me 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to take me at least a month. And so that has been awesome because every day I'm like, okay, how can I nab at this thing a little more, and it's just been, man, like I said, phenomenal in terms of, you know, the willpower, the spiritual focus you start to develop, the sensitivity of the people you're around and the way they're talking, but how you talk to yourself, Dr. D.
Ashe. Ding, ding, ding,
How you
ding.
talk to yourself. Okay. Like I'm if you tell yourself you can do something and you say it with such conviction, nothing in this world, no one can stop you. And when you know that, you have to operate like that. Once the mind gets it, that's the whole seed for great in the brain with the seed. Once the mind grasps that down to the subconscious level, you know, your prayers, your meditation, it becomes another level. I want to be another level so bad. And
You
it
are at
feels
another
good.
level.
Oh, thank you.
That's what
You
it is.
too.
Thank
You
you. So the
too.
thing is, I wanted to say you were saying, and as you were saying that, there's a song. I'm on my way up. You said, you know, nothing can stop me. I'm on my way up. If you know that song,
I know that song. I'm
okay.
on my way up. Nothing
Yep.
can stop me.
I'm on my way up. I'm
Yeah.
serious. Music for me is communication. So I mean, so you're doing it. And I seen your challenge. It was day 17. Your challenge, day 17. You're like,
Boy,
I'm on it. I'm on it.
you
I'm not
watching.
just, I just don't click and like and just say, oh, wow. No. I'm one of those people. Oh, okay. Let me check it out. So I want to hear. So I'm glad you talked about that. So that for me is enough for people to come in and look at your channel to see what you're doing because it's going to motivate them and find another aspect of their greatness within themselves. Because you just plant the little seed. You just
Watch
plant the
out
little
tomorrow.
seed.
Tomorrow is gonna be a. Gotta see if my mom's around. It's gonna be a bitch. Okay. Tomorrow I'm gonna kick my
I get you.
ass.
But
I'm gonna beat myself up tomorrow, but in a good way, for good reason.
right, that's good motivation. So
Oh
I
yeah.
don't want to keep you too long. You know, we did go over a little bit over time, and I appreciate it for you spending time with us. So people out there, like I said, like, subscribe to the channel, and also this will be on Spotify for people that are not there. Seeds for Greatness, Stephen Metz. That's where you can find them. Look it up. Look it up. It's on Instagram and Stephen Metz on Facebook. That's where you can find him. So you can hear this on Spotify, iTunes, Podcast, Google Podcasts. That's where you can reach out and hear this again. And for all contact information, even in there, look at the description in the box. And there we go. So I thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night.